All right, hello, General Biology. I am here to talk to you about the science of dogs and cows and vegetables. Oh my. Coming to you tonight from my comfy bed to talk to you a little bit about our artificial selection. So, hopefully, you enjoyed the dog movies and got to learn a little bit about how we as humans are so smart that we figured out how to change the way that organisms look. And we do that not by doing anything fancy, but just by breeding. Okay. And so we go in and remember all of our pets, our pet dogs at least, are all the same species. Okay. Before we go too much farther, I'm going to define a species for you. And a species is something, it's any organism that looks alike and is capable of naturally interbreeding. That means that they have the ability to mate with another organism and have babies. And the last requirement of this species idea is that the babies also have to be able to go on and have babies as well. So when you see dogs and dogs mate, so let's say you have a pit bull and you have a boxer and they mate and have puppies, the puppy mutts that they create can go on and have babies with any other type of pet dog that we have. All right. But sometimes we see that our pet dogs have babies with wolves. So they will naturally breed together. But the deal here is that their babies, the hybrid wolves, everybody says, oh, I have a wolf pet. They don't. Well, they might have a hybrid, but those hybrids, the wolf domesticated dog cross, cannot go on to have their own babies. And so it kind of, the gene pool stops there. All right. Okay, so and oftentimes that's not really a natural situation either. So wolves are now completely separate species from your domesticated dog, but all dogs, no matter what kind of dog we're looking at, if we're looking at the little wiener dog here, or a Dalmatian, or the Pomeranian, or our Greyhound dogs, or whatever it is, black labs, golden retrievers, all of those are the same breed or the same, sorry, not the same breed. They are the same species, and so they can all mate together. They can all have puppies. Generally, in our world, we call them mutts, but they all still can go on to have other babies as well. Okay, so this is what we refer to as artificial selection. Okay, there's a few different names. We call it artificial selection. We also call it selective breeding, and the process is really pretty simple. What we do is that we go out into nature and we find characteristics that we deem are important. And the key word here is that it's us, it's people, it's humans, it's you, it's me. What traits do we think are important or maybe really, really cool? Okay, because if we go back and we look at some of these dogs, what is it that makes this little white dog so cool? Okay, now to me, nothing. Okay, I'm kind of a black lab kind of girl, maybe a little German Shepherd. I think those are kind of cool as well. These dogs here, I don't know what they're called. They're kind of a take on, what do you call those things? The Greyhounds. And I think they're very ugly, but some people really like them. All right. And so when we go ahead and we take a look at these traits, it's up to the individuals that are doing the breeding or the selecting to deem them important or cool or cute. Okay, so we're going to determine which characteristics we like. Okay, and we're going to find individuals that show those characteristics. Okay, so maybe we want a dog with really long hair. So that means we have to find a dog that has really long hair. Maybe we want a white dog that has really long hair. So that means we have to find a dog that has really long hair and maybe a dog that has white hair and see if we mate them together, if we can get both a long hair and the white genes to show up. Okay, so we're going to choose two parents that show these characteristics. Okay, we're going to mate them. Okay, and then we're going to select the offspring, okay, that show those characteristics or at least are close to the characteristics that we want to show. Okay, then we're going to take those babies, okay, all of those we'll throw in our genetics terms here, those F1 babies, and we're going to mate them together. And so what we should get is we should start to see that we have a consistency in the traits that we're showing up. So more and more of our dogs that are going to be born are going to have long white fur, because we're not going to let those other dogs mate. We're going to play with them. We're going to keep them around. We're going to have them, make them be dogs and have pets and take them for walks, but we're not going to let them mate. Okay, we're only going to pick the ones that start to show those traits that we are looking for, and then we're going to breed them together again. Okay, and again and again and again. And so then consistently we start to have a larger and larger population of individual dogs or strawberries or raspberries or whatever that show the traits that we are looking at. Okay, the key here is this is human controlled. We are picking all of the characteristics. Now this might seem kind of weird, but we've seen this with all the dogs. All your pet cats, cat people, have been done the same exact way. Okay, all of the breeds of cats are all the same species. They can all mate with one another, but they all came from the original ancestor. Okay, that's not in. Oh, I thought I switched that. All right. So here's an example. Some of you may have seen this. If you drive around in the spring here in a couple weeks, you'll see this all over the place in Montana. This is called wild mustard. Okay, and it looks like this. You'll see these beautiful fields with these yellow flowers up there. To us, they are weeds, but this is a plant. And you can see all these little yellow flowers up here, the long, nice stems. You see this bushy leaf structure down here. We have stalks over on this one. And if you look really, really closely, you can see little knobs that form on all those stalks as well. So why is it important? Well, this is a plant that it's wild mustard, but its scientific name is Brassica oleracea. And what we have been able to do with this one wild mustard plant is we have been able to create all kinds of food that we eat. Now, most of us aren't going to go out and eat wild mustard, okay? But you will eat cabbage, okay? And cabbage comes from part of this plant, okay? You will eat, well, maybe you won't eat, but I love Brussels sprouts. I used to hate them as a kid. My kids hate Brussels sprouts, but I love them. And they are coming from the little knobs that grow on the stems. And so what we did is we selected stalks that had bigger and bigger knobs, okay, so that the flowers didn't grow so big. They just stuck right straight to the knob or the stem of the plant. And so we consistently got a plant called Brussels sprouts. Okay, not only that, we selected for the same plant in a different way. We selected for a larger and larger root, and we now have kohlrabi that some people put salt on. Apparently it's really good. Okay, we have kale, which people put in salads and in soups. Not a big fan of the salad, but I do like it in soups. Broccoli, probably one of my favorite, especially if you put cheese on it. Oh, I brought broccoli with me. I think I left it downstairs. I was going to show you broccoli. Okay, so we have broccoli. And if you take a look at broccoli, broccoli is a stunted flower or a stunted plant. So the stem does not get very long. And these yellow flowers, we harvest the broccoli plants before the flowers open up and show their yellow petals. If you go to your refrigerator and you look inside the refrigerator, you will see the little knobs of the broccoli on the top, and you can open them up and you can see the yellow flowers inside if it's fresh broccoli. And sometimes if it's been there long enough, the yellow flowers will actually open up on their own. Okay, and then also small clusters, which are white, the kind of the albino type flowers, which we call cauliflower. So all 6 of these vegetables came from the same plant, just humans selecting different traits that we desired and making them more common. And so now we can produce all of these different plants on their own. Super cool. So this is an example of broccoli. You can see the little nubbies here right on the stalk. Okay, and this is broccoli that's gone to seed. All right, so the broccoli thick stalk here, you can kind of see the little green flowers in there, and then when they open up, the flowers are actually the petals of the plant. You see the yellow flowers so that they can reproduce. So super cool. Oh, and this is kale. Very pretty. Better in soup. Okay, so this is corn. The wild corn. Oh, there we go. So this is what wild corn looks like. All right. Originally here, this is the seeds of the corn. And for some reason, people thought it would be really cool to play with this. And what we have done is we have created all kinds of different corn. The corn started really small and kind of whiskery, and then the kernels got bigger, and then we got bigger and bigger kernels until we had many different kernels. And this is kind of what some of our common corn today looks like, okay? But it all came from wild grass. I'm going to skip this slide. So these are the different kinds of cobs that we see. We have popcorn, okay, which is right here. This is what you guys like to eat for snacks at movie theaters with lots of butter on it. We have sweet corn. This one here is sweet corn. This is the stuff that we like to eat in August. It is the two things I miss at Billings, and that is Costco, and there's sweet corn that they would sell on the streets every fall. It was amazing. Okay, flint corn and dent corn, both of these types of corn have really low water content and are really good for making corn chips and potato chips and any other kind of chips and corn flour. Okay, and I'm not actually sure what this last corn is for, but it's kind of cool and ugly at the same time. Okay, so what did the plant look like? This is what the plant originally looks like. This is wild corn. Again, it's a wild grass, and this is your domesticated corn. Oh yeah, we also use corn, this last corn here. Not only do we use it for flour, we also use it for feed, which is most of the corn grown in Montana. Okay, not good to eat. It doesn't have the sweet flavor to it. We have done the same thing with tomatoes. These are the tomatoes, domesticated tomatoes that we see in the grocery store. But if you ever see wild tomatoes, this is what they look like. Okay, so we have selected for bigger and juicier and sweeter tomatoes over the years and years and years of selective breeding. Okay, we have done the same thing for sunflowers. Okay, domesticated sunflowers that you put in your garden and you get sunflower seeds from come from these little rinky-dinky tiny seeds or flowers right here, which are wild sunflowers. Okay, all right. Tulips come in a variety of colors. You see them in red and pink. Sometimes they're red and pink because of that codominant trait. Sometimes they are pink and pink and white. Also because of our codominant trait. But one of the cool things is you never see black tulips. Not only do you not see black tulips, there are no black flowers that exist. Why is that? Well, my notes say that the variety does not exist, but let's go deeper than that. There are absolutely no genes in the plant kingdom that call for the color black. So there's no way for a plant to make a true black color. Okay, we can have some that are purple or maybe a dark purple. That one exists, but there are no black plants. So if you see a black flower, it is because humans have dyed them, okay, or put food coloring in them to make them black. But black does not exist in any gene form in plants, and so that cannot naturally be produced that way. It's all aftermarket. All right, not only have we artificially selected for different plants, we do it with animals as well. This is our original wild cow. You can see how small he is. And our cows today, we breed them for different types of milk. We breed them for different jobs. We breed them for different areas. You can see this hairy type of cow that is good for the colder regions. And we breed them for milk. Okay, so milk cows, we don't eat milk cows. That's gross. Okay, they produce milk and they have special genes to allow them to get really, really big udders and produce lots and lots of milk. Okay, you can get milk from other cows. It's just not in the quantities that we need to be able to supply our people with. Okay, horses. Look at that horse. Isn't he cute? It looks like a pony, and yet he is a full born adult horse. And so this is our oldest known picture of a wild horse. Okay, again, if you go to any cow or horse pasture, you will notice that they are quite a bit bigger. They're stronger. We have bred horses specifically for speed, for racing. And if you ever want to watch really cool videos or movies, you can watch some on the domestication of horse racing, and it is amazing. All the genetics that goes into them. We have bred them for work horses. Draft horses are probably my favorite animals. Okay, and again, this is the Clydesdales you see on the Budweiser commercials. Okay, we have domesticated pigs as well. This is a wild boar. All pigs that we have in our world today, domesticated pigs, have come from the wild boar. Okay, so the question is, how do we do this? It is simple genetics. All those Punnett squares that you did, we are looking at those Punnett squares. We are looking at the genes, at the genetics of various organisms, and we are selecting the traits that exist. And we are making those traits come to be more and more and more common until we get consistency in what we see. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that today. I want you to ponder that and think about that as you walk around in the world that you see. All this domestication that we see is because of things that we have created. Okay. Strawberries, wild strawberries are amazing, but they are not very big. They are no Sam's Club strawberries, that is for sure. They are probably a tenth of the size, and they are not as sweet, but they are delicious.